Welcome back, everyone. Today's video is going to be a drone narrated video update of where we are to this point in the project. And I was going to break it into two parts. One would be the new parts that we're doing or what I've done. And in the second part, I was going to do like a total overview for all the new people who might not have seen it. But I think what I'm going to do is just point out down here, right here, this project map overview with the drone. I go quite extensively into that of all the different areas. And one of the things, before I get into that, I'd like to thank everyone as well for all of your loyal subscribers, and I really get some nice comments from everyone, and kind of feel like I'm friends with a lot of you that make comments and all that. So I'm happy about that. I kind of like it. The way it's moving along. I was hoping that we could get up. 1,000 is the magic number. I don't know if it's 1,000 or 1,001, but there are a few things that, as a channel, you can do once you have 1,000 that you can't do before you have 1,000, like go live. And there's a few other things that I'm not able to do until I get 1,000. So again, I would just ask if you do watch, if you could hit the subscribe button. This way, it'll help me get to that number and be most appreciated. And again, thanks to everybody for all the nice comments and that kind of thing. And while I'm up here, um, just so you know, if you noticed, I changed my picture here. That's actually, if you remember me saying that the Cabelco broke down last week, right before the 4th of July. Um, that's a picture of right where it was. The bucket's still up in the air. I'm thankful that I was just digging over here, and I was thankful that the bucket was not down in the water with a full load or something. So I was just getting ready to swing back around when that solenoid burned up. And there'll be a video coming of that next week, so you'll be able to see that. So I just figured I'd give you a little behind the scenes of where that picture came from. Um, but again, the over these this project map overview would be good for anyone who is new or just watching, or if you just want to get like a recap of everything to see where you're going. And the one thing with my channel is it kind of goes in order. I don't just randomly put up a lot of things. I mean, there's a few things in here that are random, but I mean, probably if anything, definitely start from the beginning here. Um, Go back to the Let's Dig 18. I know a lot of you came from being one of his viewers. But this kind of give an idea as well of where it's coming from. But definitely to start from here, and everything this way is basically in order. So that's the best way to get the idea of what's happening. Because I know if you just look, especially at the latest ones, the North Road, you're gonna, they kind of all look the same a little bit because they kind of are. It's a long way. It's about, I think it's about 3,000 feet from one end to the other. So it's a long way up that end that I need to do, and I probably only do, I don't know, 100 feet a day if I do 100 feet a day. Um, so it's going to be a long way up. And what I think I'm going to do for next week, and we're also almost caught up. When we first started, I remember letting everybody know that I was probably 3 weeks farther ahead than what the videos were showing. And I don't, I don't for the most part work over the weekend. I've got a lot of other things to do around here, chore-wise, cutting the grass and just this and that. So um, we've caught up with only, I was doing 7 days a week of videos with only working, 5 days. So we're almost caught up. Next week we probably will be caught up to real time. But what I think I'm going to do is, now that the excavator is moved around to this side, once I got it fixed, I brought it back around so I could do a few other things. Today I'm going to pick up some bucket spacers, some shims for those pins, so hopefully we won't have so much slop in the bucket. Um, I'm going to get those in about an hour, so I'll probably take a video of putting those in as well. Um, but I'm going to go back to the south side, so I might stop on the north road and do a little bit, and I'll show you in the drone video what I'm going to do. So just to mix it up a little bit so that everybody's not watching the same thing like Groundhog Day every day. But unfortunately, I can only show you what I'm doing. Um, so I guess that is about enough ranting for now about what's happening. Again, I would recommend to the new people, um, to go through and try to watch it in order if you can, or at least catch a few of them. That way, you'll have an idea of what I'm doing. But again, thanks very much, and let's get to the drone video. Okay, here we go. My son shot this video. I believe it was a Saturday. It was the day after what you saw yesterday, which, yeah, that was yesterday's video was a Friday. So I was actually out cutting the grass, and I saw that it was a beautiful day out and that there were a lot of geese out. So I asked him to do it. Um, right here is a good shot of Goose Island, and this is Goose Mountain right here. And you can see how far I cut out. You can see where it was. The water level is very low, and actually there's still probably about 2 to 3 feet of water right there. It doesn't look like it, but there actually is. The water level is just so far down because we haven't had really too much rain. Um, so that's a shot there. Here's those burn piles that I did in the past couple of videos. I didn't show that one burning. You could see it in the background in the first video. This is Gumbo Alley here. Um, for the new people, I'll try to do a little bit of it as we go. This is that one little patch that I couldn't cut out. And this is our neighbor Gwyn, so I call this Gwyn Way right there. This area pretty much I don't have to do anything to. Um, this is a good shot. The former owner used to pump out the water so he can get more material out. And there was a dock with a big pump here, and it used to pump it up. You can almost see the pipe. It used to pump it up, went under the road, and went down this way, over there, for there. This is where the drag line was. You watched that video. This is where Chris from Let's Dig 18 did his little digging, was right over here. This is an area, so this is the south side. This is the north side. Obviously, this would be the west and the east. This is where the drone video was, the one from a few weeks ago when we had the bonfire drone video, the bonfire drone video. That's where that was. Basically, all this was, I took all these trees down here so that from the front porch of the house we could see the lake, and they were all piled up over here, and I didn't want to burn them right here. Got an electric pole that's right there, so that's why you saw in that video, if you watched it, everything flipped down here and we burned it there. The concrete, when it shows me making a ramp and burying concrete, that video, that is right here. Come on, there we go. Um, there's me cutting the grass actually. Um, and as you've heard me talking about building my house, again, my house is going to be right about here in this vicinity. Haven't figured out exactly if it's going to go this way or this way. I'm kind of leaning towards this way a little bit. So from the front and the back, we'd be able to see the lake. Okay. And coming farther down, the diversion trail. So quick story on the diversion trail, rather than build this whole road up down the south side all the way back to this corner, I cleared all the woods through here. So this road will just come down like this, turn through the woods, and then come out that way. And that saved a lot of dirt, a lot of dirt. And here's the dam. So the west end, or I call it the dam end, is what we're calling it. So this is the part that I've built up. This was the first portion. You can see how wide it is, probably 65 feet or so. Might even be bigger than that, but where it slopes down. This is really the only part that this whole end here is the only part that we have to worry about breaking through or anything like that. The lake does not leak. It actually has very good inflow of water, even with no rain. This is outflowing here, so this is the only part that keeps it the level that it's at because the water will run out. The problem is if we get a lot of rain, the creek is right here. The water will come in as well. So this will be the last part that gets filled in. So I was trying to get this side done, the North Road. This is the part that I've graded off that you saw in the couple of days video ago. Um, so I wanted to finish that side and then move on to this side. But basically I can't close this spot up until the end because once I do that in a few days, I mean even without rain, it'll start to fill up and I'll have less material to be able to dig up. And if it really rained, then I'd be in trouble, for getting material. And also for the overflows, we were going to do one 24-inch overflow right in the middle. But what I'm thinking is to do two 18s, one in this corner and also one into this corner over here to go over, because again, into the creek. The problem is, with the creek, if the creek is high, I have to make sure the overflow is high enough because I don't want creek water coming in. And it does get high, and what I tried to do was build up this dam end higher than the land on this side so that if it does spill over, if the water, the creek gets high enough, it'll come up over here into this horse field and come up into this field over here. Uh, so that's a little bit on that end. And again, this just shows, the North Road, what I was working on. And it gives you an idea. You'll see from up here how far it is to Goose Mountain. And now, basically, all I have to do is flip this material back. I don't have to cart it down. But if I do need more material, there's still a lot from Goose Island here that can come out. And what I'm going to do as well, I call this island, really it's a peninsula, but we've always called it Goose Island just because that's where the geese always stayed. But building Goose Mountain here, I am going to cut this off. So this part will be standalone. So this will be, it will be an island on its, the mountain on its own island. So either way, all this is going to come out and all this has to be built up all the way to about here, because it starts to build itself up. The elevation is already, this is all fine over here. And let's see, what else can I show you from here? Again, it looks like there's no water here, but once I remove this pile, I'm going to dig it up obviously again, and I'll just dig this, a little bit more because since the water level's down. But it's nice that I don't have to do anything down here. And again, you can see how much I dug from here back, but again, the water level was way back up here, but now you can see that it's down. So I'm going to, this week, like I said, I'm going to work on this side. Wait till it spins around. That just gives another view of where there was those floats that you saw me pull out. Those were over here, and when they had the flood, they flipped right up over these poles and went out right over the dam end when it broke open and went into the creek. So well, this isn't a good view yet, but I want to show you on this side. Wait till it turns around. He's going to give you, so you can kind of see Goose Island. They all used to hang out there. Here's the top of Goose Mountain. The water level will probably be about to here. I'm hoping it'll come up, it should be able to come up about 8 to 10 feet. The water level will be up about here, over looking at that side. And again, this will be standalone, so that the geese will not be able to be affected by the fox that live here as well. Right now, the fox are living on this side, but last year they were on the other side. And the water is usually cleaner, but with the lack of rain, and also with a lot of this is just debris, plant life that I dug up that's floating around. As well as down here, you'll see the water looks murky or silty. It's mainly because from just digging it up so much, it hasn't settled. So there's just a look back down. So I mean, it's not terrible distance, but when you're only doing 75 to 100 feet a day, depending on how long I work on it. Like I said, I really only work somewhere between 2.5 hours and 5 hours a day. Um, Making these videos takes a long time. Um, Believe it or not, between the editing and everything else and uploading, it takes a long time. Don't tell my wife that because she doesn't even want me to do them because she says I would have a lot more done if I didn't do them. And don't tell her that she's probably right. But um, so here's a closer look. Let me just pause that. So this is the area that broke open. You can almost see it. Clearly, I've filled in a lot of it. I've started from here. It was actually broken all the way open to here. But the former owner dug so much dirt out between the creek right here. Literally, it was only about 2 feet wide, and that's why it breached. Because I've had some comments as to you know, is that going to leak or no, nothing leaks. It's just that it was dug so thinly all the way down here that that's what broke open. And again, if you go back to the beginning of my videos, you'll see, I think it was called the Memorial Day flood, and you can actually see the former owner's excavator is submerged down at that end. Um, he tried to, let me pause that. He tried to, let me back that up a second too. I want to show that. He tried to fix what was going on, but he never put fuel in his machine. And when he saw that it looked like it was going to breach, he went down there to try to put some material up against it, and he ran out of fuel right as it broke open, and he actually had to get rescued off the machine before it got swamped. I guess it's not funny, but if you remember me talking about him, he didn't uphold his end of the bargain, so to speak. That's why I'm fixing this, so I'm not really his best fan at it. So I guess I could kind of laugh a little bit. Um, this shows where that diversion trail, it will come out down this end over here. Actually, it's right here. I think it's where it can come out. Um, so just so you can see. But I can still use all this dirt, and I can fix up all in this area here as well. This will all come out. And this is a good shot. Let me stop that there. Of what I'm going to do this week, just to give you a little different look. I'm going to burn these. I was actually going to burn these yesterday, and right when I was coming out to do it, we got a torrential 10-minute downpour, thunderstorm. But I'm going to burn these, get those out of there, and then all this dirt is going to flip up to make this bank be not so steep. So I'm going to work on that this week. I'm tired of looking at that side. I've been looking at it for a few months now. Stop it here and show you again. This is actually about 16 feet from here to here. It doesn't look like it on there, but the former owner left us with a straight cliff, and I was worried like my grandson would go off or some of our friends would be here, and at night if they drove around, they would drive off and literally, I mean, it was like 16 feet down. So I scraped this down right in the beginning, and you can see it's washed out a little bit because it is still fairly steep. Too steep for me to track it in. All I did was tamp it down with the bucket, so that needs to get finished. So I'm going to climb up on this pile, come down here, and just start flipping this back this week as well. And that'll be a little bit of a different look for everybody, and a little different look for me too, because I get tired of doing the same thing every day. And I just want to stop. So right here, I've had other people say, "Oh, where I called Nest Island, you should have left it," and I should have talked about that down the other end. But I think we'll see it again before the video's over. But my thought is right now is I'm going to make this a peninsula. I think what I want to do is leave this here. I still have a lot more because I can still come down in here, and I can dig up a lot more of this too now that the water level's down. And I want to make a peninsula level with the road up here and just make this whole thing, just leave that one little finger sticking out. This way the geese can go out on it. We can walk out that way if we want, and it'll be all sand, so it'll be almost like having a beach. And I might fill a little bit to almost make like a beach here. I know we've had a few people comment I should make a beach. We don't live that far from the beach here in where we are in South Carolina, so we're only about 20 minutes away. So we can go to the beach, but still would be nice. So I'm going to dig up the rest of this as well. So that'll probably, you'll see this coming week after I show you the video of the machine breaking and the machine getting fixed. Um, we're going to start over here on this side just to give a little different look. And like I said, for everybody, me included. So let's see. Let's see. We don't really need to go down this end. Let me speed it up a little bit. Now there's all the geese. This is the end they like to hang out to now. Let's see if you can get down a little bit to the other end. Yeah, good. We're going to get down there. So as I talked about Nest Island, um, right here, this was all connected to the land, and I disconnected it. I could not get close enough to that. On one hand, I wanted to leave it for them right now. They do use it still while the water level's down. But when the water level comes up, this will be underwater. And I needed as much dirt down this end as I talked about. This corner still needs some material. It's kind of good because when I do the overflow, I won't have to dig it back up. I can put the overflow in and fill it in. But I would have used this dirt if I could have reached it, but I could not get out close enough to get it. And you know, some people say, "Oh, you should get some mud mats like Chris does," and I'm like, "No, I'm not going anywhere where you need to have mud mats." And it kind of proved if you watched his video last week of his new machine, his Hitachi, um, it broke down. He had a hose break, and if he was out in the middle of that mud area and broke down, I mean, he'd be in serious trouble because the machine would be sinking. And I don't have another machine big enough to pull out the size of that machine. I think it weighed 62,000 pounds when they delivered it. Um, and I have nothing that I can pull that out with. Um, so if I can't safely get into it without mats, I am not going to. I'm not going to get into it. It's not worth it to me. I do not want to get stuck. So say what you will about that, but I'm not going to get stuck. So again, so this will be the side we'll be working on this week. And oh, I should have showed you one other thing that I'll have a video come up. Let's see if you can see it. Let me back up a little bit. This, I actually did this yesterday. Today is Friday, so yes. So yesterday I did this. As I told you, the former owner had a pump down over here. I think you'll see it in some of the uh, in those older videos of the one about the floods and the first drag line, you know, seeing the drag line before it was destroyed. Um, he would pump it up the hill, as I told you. It would come underground. There's a pipe into this. This is like a little holding pond. Not a holding pond. It's just a ditch. And then there's two pipes that come across to this as well. So I started to clean this out because it just doesn't look good and it's all uneven. So I started to do this, and I took a video of cleaning out this side. And of course, I came back out after a quick rainstorm, and I forgot to turn the camera back on, and I had done all this. But um, I will have a video of that as well. So, um, well, I guess that's about it for that drone. If anybody has any other questions, put them in the comments, and I'll try to respond. You know, I try to respond as quickly as I can when I see it. So, and again, I thank you, everybody. If you would please hit the subscribe button, even if you have your cousins and grandmothers and everybody, even if they never watched the channel. If I could just get to 1,000, after that, I don't care. Um, but if I could just get to that magic number, and again. Thank you very much, and today is Friday, so this will be the last video until Monday. I won't put one up Saturday or Sunday. So everybody have a good weekend, and thanks for watching. And I just threw in some pictures here. of the drag line and of the pump and some pictures of the little bit with the flooding. Um, I was going to try to interject them in, but I had already done the voiceover and it was messing up my pointer spacing, so I figured I'd put it at the end here. So.